What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, the NFL top 100 rankings have officially concluded last night with the revealing of the top 20 players inside the top 20. And the Colts actually had two players inside the top 20 based off of the players who voted on them, players and coaches and stuff like that. So we figured we break this down, kind of talk about all five Indianapolis Colts players who were lucky enough to be widely recognized by all their peers as top 100 players in this league. So let's go ahead and start with number five here. We'll start from the lowest ranking to the highest ranking, depending on how you want to look at it. But we'll start with number 82, Kenny Moore II. Kenny Moore, who just got selected for the first time this year as a Pro Bowl corner for the first time in his career. And how could you not feel that way? You know, Kenny Moore played in all 17 games last year, had 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, had the same number of interceptions and fumbles as he had last year. So again, another great statistical year from a turnover standpoint. And on top of it, had his most efficient tackling year last year, had over 100 combined tackles last year. I mean, that's something that's truly incredible for a guy who's considered a slot corner. I know that at the end of the year, we as Colts fans did really not like a lot of what we saw in coverage when it came to Kenny Moore. But nevertheless, the peers voted and they realized that Kenny Moore, you know, this guy is a special talent. He is a guy that is very smart, a guy that was picked up by the Patriots, but then let go. Ballard took a chance on Kenny Moore, picking him up in 2017. And ever since the 2017 year he came to Indianapolis, Kenny Moore has continued to get better and better and better every single year that he has played inside this Indianapolis Colts system. And really over the last 2 years, Kenny Moore has been a staple of this secondary for Indianapolis, man. He can tackle, he can make interceptions. He obviously is a great personality. You know, you always have the tie celebration, you know, going to work. You know, that's how it is for Kenny Moore, you know, always has that, and you never know what you're going to get from him. You know, at the end of the day, he just comes out of nowhere, but he has just continued to be a great force on this Colts defense. And it was great that he finally got recognized this year by not only his peers, but by NFL fans in general. So Kenny Moore, their first Indianapolis Colt, inside the top 100 at number 82. Now this time we go to the next Indianapolis Colt at number 66, and that is DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner, one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the league. Oh, hard to find 2 or 3 guys better than DeForest Buckner at what he does on the inside, always demanding double teams. Brought from the San Francisco 49ers in a trade in 2020. And in the past 2 seasons, with DeForest Buckner in there, has accumulated 16 and a half sacks on that interior defensive line, has accumulated over 126 tackles. It's just been phenomenal to see DeForest Buckner continue to put in work. He has gradually become a big staple on this defense. You always have to keep an eye out for him because if you're not double teaming him, there's very few guys in the offensive line department that can block him straight up one-on-one. And thankfully, the Colts have one on their team that are able to do that, but very few guys in the league that can get the best of DeForest Buckner. You know, even in 2020, for as good as he was with 9.5 sacks that year, you know, people were debating if he was potentially the best defensive player on this team. You definitely could have made an argument that he was one of the most efficient guys on the defense in 2020. 2021, obviously, he took a giant step back in the top 100 rankings from where he was last year, was actually ranked number 27 in 2021 because of that explosive season he had. Took a little bit of a step back because it wasn't as great of a statistical year for him in some ways, especially in the sack department and everything else. But I think also because teams started taking notice of just how elite DeForest Buckner actually was. And, you know, he's still on notice. And at the end of the day, DeForest Buckner is who he is. He is a guy that's going to command double teams. He's a force in the running game. He's a guy that can get after the quarterback, has a great personality as well, a great leader for this franchise. And it's awesome to see him back in the top 100. While he did take a little bit of a step back in the ranking, he is still considered a top 100 player. Truly deserved, was voted to the Pro Bowl this last year, looking to try to become an All-Pro once again after being named first team All-Pro in 2020. So we move on now from number 66 and we take a massive leap to the next guy on this list at number 28, and that is Quentin Nelson, who, by the way, was ranked as 33rd on 2021's top 100 rankings. I mean, what can you not say about Quentin Nelson, right? We look at the overall numbers that he has played, right? And over 2,000 passing snaps since entering the league. Quentin Nelson has only allowed 3.5 sacks at this point. So at 3 to 4 sacks at this point. So you look at the overall dominance and him only giving up 1, maybe even less sacks a year. When this guy is healthy, he is as dominant of an offensive lineman as you can get. Maybe outside of Trent Williams, there is no one else that compares in pure dominance of an opponent as Quentin Nelson. Was drafted in 2018 and has ever since he was drafted has become the staple of that offensive line for Indianapolis. He has changed the way the Colts utilize their offense and their offensive line. He has changed the attitude on that team. And it is by far in no way, shape, or form he is going to slow down, at least what we see right now. And he is projected to be a Hall of Fame talent when it's all said and done. Announced as a All-Pro once again. I don't think that there's been very few guys who have made a first-team All-Pro every year since being drafted. Very few guys that are doing it at the level of a Quentin Nelson. You see it every week. You see the pancake blocks. You see the running down the field to look to block somebody. You look at the tenacity. You look at the aggression. You look at the confidence. You look at the attitude that he has when he's out there on the field. It is no question that Quentin Nelson is a top 30 player in this unit because, outside of Trent Williams, there's not a better offensive lineman in the NFL right now than there is Quentin Nelson. And it's very fitting that he deserves to be in the top 30 picks here. What's going on, everybody? Today, I'm introducing our new sponsor, Homefield, a premium collegiate apparel brand out of Indianapolis that has incredibly comfortable, officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs. Homefield, being a local brand to Indianapolis, is partnering with the Indianapolis Colts to bring you a new collection of Colts apparel. This is Homefield's first NFL collection. They're super excited to be involved with the Indianapolis Colts, and we're excited to help promote their new designs. They have 6 new designs. They have a hooded sweatshirt, crew neck, 2 different tees, joggers, and a jacket. Now, if I say so myself, I'm definitely going to be rocking the sweatshirt and the joggers, guys, because they look extremely comfortable, and I'm definitely going to need them for the fall and winter season. It's the perfect collection to have for you guys to kick off the NFL season. It is going to be launching August 27th at 12 p.m. Eastern, so be on the lookout for it. And if this is already passed, make sure to go check out the Homefield site and be able to get yours today. New customers can get 15% off their first purchase from Homefield with the code BRINGTHEJUICE at checkout at homefieldapparel.com. Make sure to go check out their website, guys, and catch your Colts apparel. All right, so we move on now from the rest of these guys to the top 2 players that we have in here. And I must say, guys, this one really is awesome that this guy was placed into the top 20 for the first time in his career. And I think it's truly deserved because when you saw what happened in this last year where he did not receive any kind of defensive recognition for Defensive Player of the Year, despite the fact that he had forced 8 forced fumbles and also had 4 interceptions and had 3 fumble recoveries. So in total, you talk into account 12 forced turnovers and 15 accumulated turnovers. This guy did not receive any recognition for Defensive Player of the Year, despite leading the league in turnovers forced. It's truly incredible that he received no recognition from the NFL, but his peers understood just how good this guy is. So at number 18, the first guy in the top 20 players in the NFL, you have Shaquille Leonard at number 18, who, by the way, he was ranked as 37th the year prior to that. So it's amazing that he took this big leap here, and it's totally understood why. In 2020, had no interceptions in 2020 and only had 3 forced fumbles. So from a turnover standpoint, his 2020 season was nowhere close to what he achieved in 2021. His usage of the punch, the peanut punch, as we like to call it, he has basically modified and improved the peanut punch, guys. He has forced 28 turnovers since being drafted by the Indianapolis Colts 4 years ago. That's an average of 7 turnovers a year. I don't remember who it was, but somebody called this the worst draft pick in the entire 2018 draft. And Shaquille Leonard has gone on to become the best, not only proving that wrong, but proving everyone else wrong by being the best linebacker in the NFL. There is no denying it. There is no question. I don't care if Micah Parsons got put at 16. I would much rather take 12 turnovers versus 14 sacks. I will take 12 turnovers every single freaking time. Every time. And then not to mention, not only does he force turnovers, guys, but he also had 8 pass deflections. He also played in 16 games. He had a total combined of 122 tackles, which is actually his second lowest amount of tackles in his career so far. His most that he ever had was 163 in his rookie year, where he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, was named First Team All-Pro. He has been named to the All-Pro list every year since being drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. There is Shaquille Leonard. You have to know everywhere that this guy is, because he is everywhere on the field. He makes all the tackles. He is always near the ball. It seems like he comes out of nowhere. And if you're not careful with where you're throwing the ball or how you're guarding the ball, expect that ball to get lost, because Shaquille Leonard's coming in there. He is taking it from you. And that's why he is widely recognized now as the best linebacker in the NFL, because at the end of the day, not only does he make the tackles, but he forces more turnovers than everybody else does. Nobody does it on a level like Shaquille Leonard. And I am so happy that Shaquille Leonard finally gets a little respect from the players themselves, even if the NFL fan base or the NFL or the executives or whatever don't say it. Shaquille Leonard definitely deserves to be inside the top 20 best players in the NFL. And I can't even really say executives and players, because at the end of the day, executives and players and coaches did rank Shaquille Leonard as the unanimous number 1 linebacker in the NFL. So he is getting that recognition now, guys. Even if for some reason the people who vote on these awards do not give him any credit for what he does, at the end of the day, the people who he's playing against, they know how good this guy is and how well machined he is. And it is great to finally see him getting the respect he deserves. And now the highest ranking player for the Indianapolis Colts, one of the highest rankings that we have seen from a Colts player and I think pretty much 10 years at this point. And that has been Jonathan Taylor, running back at number 5, guys. So Jonathan Taylor, who was not in the top 100 last season, in only his second year in the NFL, had one of the best seasons that we have ever seen from a running back in recent memory. Ran the ball 332 times, ran for over 1,800 rushing yards, averaged 5.5 yards per carry, had 40 catches for 360 yards, had 2 touchdowns receiving, and had 18 rushing touchdowns. 18 rushing touchdowns to go with his over 1,800 yards. Jonathan Taylor burst into the scene We saw it in 2020 that he could potentially be the running back of the future for the Indianapolis Colts, and he showed it. He has showed why he is the best running back in the NFL already in only his second year. He has a tremendous show of speed, size, athleticism, and boost, and his agility and being able to get through tackles and see how it works. He is just a phenomenal player and can run through anybody. And to think this is only his second year as an NFL player, and this guy's already widely recognized as the best player at his position. It is truly incredible to see what Jonathan Taylor has accomplished. We have said this multiple times, and we thought Jonathan Taylor, it may not have the same stats as last year, but if we see Jonathan Taylor come close to this again, it is only fair to say that Jonathan Taylor is the best in the business because he is a home run hitter anytime he touches the football. I mean, players understand it. They say he's just as hard to tackle as Derrick Henry at this point. And Jonathan Taylor gets you more yards per carry than almost anyone else in this league. Truly incredible that Jonathan Taylor, who was pretty much unknown, or, people didn't really think he was that great, even had people calling him Trent Richardson 2.0 halfway through the season, in his first season, to now being widely recognized in the span of just over a year, the best running back in the business. So crazy to think that, Jonathan Taylor was ranked above guys like TJ Watt and above Patrick Mahomes. So it shows you just how big people view Jonathan Taylor as after what we just saw this last year. So truly great to see Jonathan Taylor getting recognition. Not much of a better human to have this happen to. He is a tremendous guy, tremendous player, tremendous person. And I want to say congratulations to everyone. Jonathan Taylor was a first team All-Pro offensive player of the year, Pro Bowl player as well. I mean, got all the accolades there. Was even in the running for MVP. That's just how good he was at keeping the Colts afloat that last year. So at the end of the day, congratulations to Kenny Moore, DeForest Buckner, Quentin Nelson, Shaquille Leonard, and Jonathan Taylor for making it inside the top 100 players in the NFL this year. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on these players and where they ranked. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.